What's up guys, happy Sunday. Thanks for tuning into my latest video, The Life of a Jobbing Plumber. If you don't subscribe, please hit the subscribe button, and if you like the video, bang a like on it. So this week, one of the hottest weeks ever. Work was pretty horrible. I was lucky enough though to have the day off on Wednesday. Went down to London to see the new Harry Potter exhibition, but on the way there went to a copper factory in Coventry. Now a lot of people seemed interested in that, and I actually went to another copper factory about 6 months ago in Birmingham, where I saw the whole process of when you drop your scrap off at the scrap merchants to it being delivered to the copper factory, melted down into the copper billets, then they heat it up, stretch it. I've got the whole thing filmed. I just need to find time to edit it. So when I get a chance, I'll edit that together, because that's going to be a really interesting video to watch. And then this week I've got a PCB fault finding and repair on an Ideal ICOS, kitchen tap install with a look at the water regs regarding air gaps, and then I've got a new core bit set from Dart Tools, which I'm trying out on my on the video. But also I've got a giveaway to give 3 full sets, 3 core bit sets away. That's over on my Instagram page. What I'll do is though, I'll leave a link to that competition in the description to this video so you can enter. And then we've got an update from Sam. He's at the end of his fast track gas course. He's got his exams this week. And we've got an I fucked up from Smart Pipe Plumbing. He's also got a YouTube channel, so if you want to check him out and give him a follow, that'd be great. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for tuning in. So this is a call out to no heat and no hot water. We've got an Ideal ICOS calling for heat and hot water. The pump's on because I can hear the water going, but the display is dead. So I've got nothing on the display. So probably a circuit board issue, but we'll have a look into it. Right, so the power to this boiler is on this block there, this 5-pin plug. I think it's 5, yeah, it's 5. So I'm on the live and neutral power for the minute. So if I turn the power on, it's the power on. So what, 240 to the board, but it's dead. So the next thing to check is there's a fast blow fuse at the back. You can see that just there. So whip that out and have a look at that. Okay, got it. Focus on that. That looks fine. We'll test it anyway. So change that to continuity, just there, and then we're just going to test either side of this fuse. So that's good. So the fuse is okay. So power to the board, fuse is okay, so it's got to be the board. Okay, so we've got a new board here. There's some instructions there for how to fit it. But for now, I'm just going to disconnect this one and take this one out of the way. When I say disconnect, just unplug all these. With one hand. Stuck a bit. I don't want to come out. Okay, so we're going to take this metal, we need that because that's what holds it onto the boiler there. And we need to reuse this because this is what connects to the on-off button at the front. So that's the old one done. I've put the metal harness onto that. I've plugged that lead back in, so now this hooks in like that. And then we start plugging the leads back in. So if you look on the old board, we've got a jumper in just there, plugged in. And on the new board, we've not. And that's because this board will do a lot of different Ideal boilers, which is why you get your instructions. So if you look for what boiler you're installing, and then it will tell you where to put the jumper, depending on what boiler you're working on. For example, if you were doing an Evo HE H12, you put one in number 4, one in number 1, etc, etc. So if we look at the one that's come out, it's in number 2, which is that one, which is an ICOS HE15. which is what we've got there. So you get a bag of spare jumpers there. So I'm going to put one now into number 2. Which basically it's just a link. So if I can see, that's that one there, and it just pushes on. Done. That's how the board knows what boiler it's working for. And we also have a metal plate for the front. So that again pushes on. You see these little dots there? It pushes onto them like that. And that's what we fix to the boiler, and also we fix our front fascia to. So then the front just clips back onto that. Obviously we've got the power button on, that's on. So now when we turn the power back on, no demand. Remember this display was dead before. It's a good start. Okay, and then we'll put hot water only. Let's see what the boiler does. So just got to wait for the zone valve to open. The hot water zone valve will open, then it will put a switch live down on the orange to tell the boiler that we need to fire up, and the status will change. There we go. And the burner lights, that will change to a solid. It's flashing when it's in sort of standby. There we go. And then we'll just check, we'll turn hot water off. Water should go out. Then we'll put central heating on. Actually might have to go and turn the room stat up. It's quite hot today. Even though it is 7:15 at night. I've had a busy day today. So just waiting for the zone valve to open for the central heating. Send the switch live down to the boiler, and then you should hear it click in. There we go. That's now 5 central heating. Easy. I've just left them the hot water on because they've not had any hot water for a few days, so they'll be happy. Obviously we don't need the heating on because it's, what is it now? 7:20 and it's still pure sunshine. It's proper hot outside. This is a bread and butter job, kitchen tap swap. Customer rang me, said, can you come and fit my new tap? We've got the tap, yeah, no problem. Under the sink, copper tails coming down, 2 extra long flexies onto the 2 service valves. I've turned them off and the tap's ready to come out. But as I said, the customer supplied their own tap, and it's one of these with the sort of flexi head on it. Hey, good girl. First thing I thought when I saw this was, is it going to fit? I bet they've not tried it, and of course they hadn't. They've not measured it, and it's hitting the underside of the kitchen cupboards.
Don't eat the plumber.
So like any monoblock tap job I do, I'm using my Nereid Tapex kit, which is basically an extending ratchet with a deep socket. And that allows me to, especially when it's difficult to get to, this one's not too bad. You can see the locking nut there is behind the copper pipe, so you're not really going to get a hand tool in. But on certain circumstances, this tool will save you a lot of time, and it just makes getting taps out a lot easier. So if you've not got one and you do a lot of kitchen tap jobs, definitely a worthwhile investment. I think they're about 130, 140 quid, but it will save you money. So that's the old tap out, and then the new one's just going to slot back in, hopefully through that hole. You see it's got a wider thread on there and a big back nut for it, but most modern taps come with flexible tails, which makes the job a lot easier. I'm not going to be able to thread these through with one hand, so we'll just cut to the finished job. So that's the tap. It does, I was hoping it might clear the cupboard above, but it still hits it. But you have 2 options on this. So you got normal tap mode and then like a shower spray. I guess it's for like cleaning plates down and stuff, and you can move it around. they're becoming more and more popular, but I think this is probably only the second one I've fitted. The other one I did was in a chip shop. But yeah, it is hitting the cupboard, which I showed the customer and she was fine. She still wanted me to fit the tap. So I don't know if they'll just leave it there and move that out like that. And then one really big important thing on taps like this is you cannot have a tap, kitchen sink, where that would go below the spillover level. So the level of the worktop, if that could go underneath it, then that would become a fluid category 5 tap. And you'd need to introduce backflow prevention, which we're going to talk about in a minute.
And we're going to be on the story.
Do you like being on film? No, this is going on YouTube.
What do you want to say?
Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Hey, good girl. What's her name?
Juno.
Juno. Good girl. Gorgeous. I know who you are. Met you before. Good girl. Do they all get on well?
Yeah. Juno.
Right, this tap. Now, I didn't fit this tap. This is a tap on a job we're doing. And if I do the same as I did on that last job, pop it out there. So we can see the spillover level is here. Obviously we've got the overflow, but this is what they class as the spillover level. And I can easily get that way below it. So this tap would need, this would now be fluid category 5. So this would need fluid category 5 backflow prevention. Easy for me to say. So we'll have a look at that in the book. There's no mechanical device like a double check valve won't do. They've not even got that on here. It just connects on that there. So they have got a check valve for the outside tap, looks like. But yeah, that's fluid category 5. But as I say, it's not I didn't install it. And this is the big job where we're doing quite a lot of work. So whether this is this will be coming out, I don't know. Sunday morning, I've been watching this on Netflix. I was hoping, because I grew up on this program, it was going to be awesome. But like a lot of things that you watch when you were a kid, they're just never the same when you're an adult. Just films that you thought were amazing, special effects you thought were good back in the day. You watch it again and it's terrible. But anyway, so this is the Water Eggs guidebook. I always talk about this when we do anything to do with backflow prevention, because this is the book and it's the most interesting section in the book. So it's worth getting hold of a copy if you want to look anything up. So we're looking at fluid categories and backflow prevention in relation to this tap we've just been looking at. So if you didn't know, I think I've explained this before, but you have different fluid categories depending on where the water is, the appliances and what you're using it for. And a kitchen sink, believe it or not, comes under the most severe fluid category, which is category 5. A lot of this stuff is industrial stuff, but sinks, urinals, WC pans and bidets, because anything that's a serious health hazard because of pathogenic organisms, fecal matter, so shit, human waste, butchery or animal waste. So like raw chicken would be the one I would say. If you're washing raw chicken in your sink, then you're fluid category 5 if the tap can come in contact with it. So that's why we spoke about the air gap. So we're definitely fluid category 5 on the sink. So if we go to the next bit, which is backflow prevention, there's my granddad. There's 2 types of backflow prevention, mechanical and non-mechanical. So if we look at the non-mechanical table, on this table here, you've got suitable for protection against fluid category 5 and 5. There's only 2, and they are an air gap with unrestricted discharge above spillover level and an air gap with a weir overflow. Now, if we look at mechanical backflow prevention, there isn't one for fluid category 5. So there's no mechanical way of preventing backflow in a fluid category 5. So these are our 2 that are suitable for category 5. The type AA air gap, which is basically where the cold water comes out of your tap, and the spillover level, which is the bit of the sink I showed you, you have to have an air gap. So that's the one of the only suitable backflow preventions. The other one is a type AB air gap, which is basically the same thing. Because you've got a weir overflow, the outlet from the tap, there's an air gap between the top of that weir overflow. So it's basically the same thing, but they're the only things you can do. So if you, the next page we'll look at, so if I look at this page, it says B-days, but we can apply it to sinks as well because it's got a flexible hose and spray handset. So if you can get that spray hose into water of a fluid category 5, which is a toilet, because the wash and basin is only 3. But if this, let's apply this to our kitchen sink. So it becomes fluid category 5 because we can get the head of that spray thing on the tap below the water level, below the spillover level. So basically what you would have to do is have a break tank. So your fresh wholesome water would fill up a storage cistern, which has got the air gap in it. And then that would feed that kitchen sink tap. So if you did submerge that in your kitchen sink, it can only pull water from the tank, and then you've got an air gap, so it can't pull water from the mains wholesome water supply. So that's the way around it. Basically, you've got to introduce an air gap via a break tank. So yeah, this stuff's really interesting to me. I hope you find it quite interesting. But that's the book you want. Just be careful where you buy it from. There's certain places where this will be a ridiculous price. You want to pay about 10-15 quid for it. So have a look online. But the last time I looked, like on Amazon, they were like 80-90 quid. There is some shops though to do, I think maybe the gas safety shop, you can get it cheap, or well, not cheap, the real actual price you should pay. This is the heat changing mug I got from the Harry Potter exhibition in London. It's got the map on it, it gets revealed when you put hot drink in it. It's cool, isn't it? I also got this hat. If you didn't know, I am a Hufflepuff. It probably means nothing to a few of you. Just a quick one, if you're thinking about doing the Heat Geek course, there's now 2 parts to this course, and they've got a special offer on. If you do the course and you finish them both, I think it's by the end of September, you get 600 quid off. So I'm going to leave the link to this course in the description. There's only 50 spaces, so if you've been thinking about it, maybe now's the time. Get on it. Right, so today we are replacing the stack. That's the old one we've took out. So we've got, I used to go to the toilet there in the bath and the wash hand basin. The toilet's been moved somewhere around here, so I've got a hole out for that. Wash hand basin, vanity unit, it's got to come out somewhere there. We're actually going to reuse this one for the bath because it's in the perfect spot. And then over here, there's going to be a new bath and shower room. So there's going to be 2 1.5-inch wastes coming out. So I've got to core those holes as well. I've got a new core drill set, not used it yet, brand new today. I'm going to have a look at. It's from a company called Dart Tools, Red 10. So this is, they do 2 sets. This is the big one, 5-piece. So we'll have a look in the box. So you get 127mm all the way down to 38mm. And they've got the cooling slots in the side. These grooves apparently help to remove the dust so they don't get clogged up. And then the V in the teeth, hang on, it says on the back of the box. The V in the teeth increases the bite and cutting speed of the core. So yeah, we're going to use them now. They feel decent, so hopefully they're good. And then you just got the standard stuff, extension bar, standard chuck, SDS, and the pilot bit. So we'll give them a good road test.
Yeah, nice and easy.
Honest opinion?
Really good. Took about 3 minutes. Brick on both sides.
Got better teeth than me.
Not me, I've got £7,000 implants.
It's warm, it's not red hot.
It is brand new. 3 minutes.
Typical plumbers, we've already lost the drift key to get the pilot bit out, so
Really clean, no snagging, straight through, quick.
what about like having to push hard on the drill? Is it just...
No, just gently leaning on it, it's just finding its own way. I know it's a dry wall and when they're a bit damp they do tend to snag a bit. But apart from that, really good.
Cool. That's the core. Yeah, I'm working with Ben on this job. He's not got a YouTube channel or an Instagram or anything like that, so good to get his opinion on it. I haven't had a go yet because he's been coring holes. I've just been filming it. So we've got plenty to do, so I'll have a go in a minute. You see, we've used I don't know what size that is. So we've used what I would call 1.5 inch for the 1.25 inch pipe, and we've used the next one up for the 1.5 inch, and we've used the bigger one for the soil pipe, and then that's the one I would normally use for a boiler flume. So got everything in there. I'm just trying to think what I'd use that one for. Maybe 28mm for a gas pipe, sleeve it with 28mm, take a 22mm pipe through the wall. So you've pretty much got everything covered in the one box for a plumber.
The only thing I suggest is to give in the boxes, get some spanners to take everything apart, and maybe on a little chain with the drift so you can't lose it.
Because we've already lost it.
Because we've already lost it.
Well, you lost it.
I lost it.
Yeah, there's nothing like scraping your knuckles on a brick wall trying to undo a core bit. Apparently if you put PTFE on these, they come off a lot easier.
Oh, really?
Yeah, top tip.
That's it. The biggest problem I have with my core set is when you've got a slightly damp wall, the brick dust compacts here, and when it jams, you can't pull it out, and you end up wiggling it trying to get it through the hole.
Yeah, I think that might be what these grooves are for, to stop that.
Yeah, feed the dust out.
Yeah. We'll try and find a damp wall for you to core out.
Yeah, summer.
It's too hot today. See if we can... That's first skin done, and then back through with the extension bar. So that's soil pipe done as far as the toilet. So we've got that's the core we've just done for the wash and basin vanity unit, and that's the old hole where the bath waste came out. That's for our new bath. So they'll boss into the soil pipe there. You might remember this job from a few weeks ago. So the customer has put his own waste pipe in. This is all glued in place. And he needed me to come and core down to connect the waste pipe from the washing machine. But he doesn't want to see any pipe above ground. So we've got to go down through the concrete and through the 2 layers of blues. So I'm using the new core set from Dart that I got last week. Because my old core drill and bits only got me so far. So you can see there I got the blue brick I've gone through, and then the concrete, and it took probably took me an hour in total to come out. It was hard work, but got there in the end. You can see how far it is. But the drill bit did well. Didn't overheat. It was just me overheating really, because it was one of them days where it was like 30 degrees. But if you look at the drill bit, I mean, the teeth still look pretty good to me after going through the concrete and the blues. If I compare it to one of the new ones I've not used yet, it still looks in pretty good nick. So I'm quite pleased with that.
Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry I didn't get a video to you last week. I'll be honest, things just got on top of me a little bit. The heat, the course, family life, the travelling, yeah, it all just caught up with me a little bit, but we're okay now. So next week I start my last week, which is my practical assessments. They're going to test me on everything from beginning to end, with not a lot of leeway. So hopefully at the end of the week, fingers crossed, I'll have passed that and I'll be ready to go out and gain my portfolio, which again will be another chapter started, but it'll be nice to have got this one out of the way. I felt like I've done okay. Like I say, things getting on top of me a little bit towards the end, but I think that's just a bit of a cocktail of everything. So I'll speak to you next week, and I shall let you know how I got on, and fingers crossed, like I say, I'll be ready to start my portfolio. Thanks.
Now then, people, hope you're doing good. I'm Macaulay from the Smart Pipe Plumbing Services. You might know my beautiful face from YouTube and Instagram. And this is how I fucked up. So basically, I used to do a lot of work for a loft firm, doing loft conversions, fitting bathrooms and stuff in there. And there were one evening, it were a Friday, I needed to be home for 5, and it was now 6 o'clock. So I'm rushing. Last day at the job, I was just finishing off, and just testing the shower out, which would fit a concealed shower in the wall. Testing the shower out, and there were very little flow coming out of it. I'm like, no way. So I ended up doing something else. I think I'm going to start in a second. And because I was rushing around, I just went straight back to the shower, took the cover plate off, took the handle off, started to unscrew the nut holding it into place. So unscrewed it, it's fine. As soon as I grabbed the cartridge to try to see if it was the filter was blocked, I instantly knew I'd fucked up. I forgot to turn the water off. God knows what was going through my mind. Yeah. So basically, started to pull the cartridge out, and the pressure and the power behind the water were just too strong for me to push it back in to seal it, get the rubbers to seal. So I had water gushing out at me, flying across the room, spraying that past the cartridge, and then going down the back of the tiles. So I'm shouting, screaming down to the customer. Bear in mind, I'm 4 stories up. They're on the ground floor, and I'm screaming, turn the water off, turn the water off. And it wasn't until he found water coming through the ceiling on the ground floor, he realised that the water was needed turning off, and he heard me. He must have had the TV on a bit loud. So he managed to turn the water off. Old kid, bless him. So instantly felt bad there, because we were an old lad. Plaster work from the 4th floor all the way down to the ground floor, knackered. Watermarks running down the wall, onto the carpet, and down through the floor to the next floor, blah blah blah. So yeah, a bit of a short one, but I fucked up big time. Luckily it all dried out because it was all clean water. Didn't leave any stains, but it was a big lesson to me not to rush. Even if you're running late, just take your time, and touch wood, I've not done it since. We've been alright, but yeah, top tip, don't rush, take your time with everything.